The parking lot of the VA hospital in Denver sat silent under a grim November sky, the air bitter, carrying that familiar chill that bites right through you, settling deep in your bones and making old war wounds ache. Rows of cars stretched across the cracked asphalt, like silent sentinels, their windshields glazed with a sheen of morning frost. The sharp scent of exhaust fumes mingled with that distinct antiseptic smell, the one that seems to cling to anyone who spent too much time within those walls. Near the entrance, a lone motorcycle stood apart, its chrome handlebars catching what little light managed to pierce the heavy clouds. Jake Reevesy Thompson. He'd done 3 tours in the stand before an IED stole his legs. 34 years old. He'd learned to navigate this world from a wheelchair, his upper body, stronger now than it ever was when he could walk. His leather cut, worn and faded, proudly displayed the patches of the Hells Angels Denver Charter, a brotherhood that had given him purpose. When he came home, broken. The skull tattoo emblazoned on his forearm mirrored the one painted on his custom wheelchair, a machine he'd built himself, reinforced wheels, hand controls, that could outpace most people on 2 legs. Today was just another appointment, another checkup at the VA, another brutal reminder of what he'd given for his country. He never saw them coming. Before we go any further, if you believe in standing up for those who have served, if you believe that cowards deserve consequences, smash that like button. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this story. Subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from, because what happened next proves that some families never abandon their own. There were 4 of them, young punks, barely out of their teens, the type who'd never put in an honest day's work in their lives, but strutted around like they owned the streets. They'd been watching Reevesy for weeks, clocking his comings and goings, waiting for the perfect moment. When Reevesy wheeled out of the hospital entrance around 2 in the afternoon, they moved fast. One of them grabbed the handles of his wheelchair from behind. Another kicked the side, trying to tip him over. Reevesy fought back, arms swinging, connecting with one jaw before they overwhelmed him. They dumped him onto the cold, hard pavement, laughing, filming the whole damn thing on their phones. Then, they took his wheelchair, his custom-built, handcrafted wheelchair, and threw it into the back of a pickup. They left Jake Reevesy Thompson, highly decorated combat vet and Hell's Angel, lying on the asphalt of a VA hospital parking lot, unable to move. A nurse found him 20 minutes later. By then, the video was already circulating online. The faces of the attackers, crystal clear, for anyone who cared to look. Grizz, the Denver Charter president, received the call at 2:47. By 3 o'clock, every member of the charter was on their bikes. By 3:30, the video had been shared across every Hells Angels network in the country. By 4 o'clock, 200 riders from 6 different charters had converged on Denver, each one carrying the same mission: find them. The network that activated that afternoon was something those 4 young punks never could have imagined. Mechanics who had seen the pickup, bar owners who recognized the faces, former military, who knew every back road and hiding spot in the city. Tips flooded in, faster than police scanners could track them. At 6:42, exactly 4 hours and 15 minutes after Reevesy hit the ground, the pickup was located in a warehouse district on the east side of town. Inside, the 4 attackers were celebrating, passing around beers, replaying the video on their phones, laughing at the helpless vet they had humiliated. The first thing they heard was the rumble. It started low, like distant thunder, then grew until the walls of the warehouse seemed to vibrate. When they ran to the windows, their laughter died in their throats. 200 motorcycles surrounded the building in perfect formation, their headlights cutting through the evening darkness like the eyes of a hunting pack. There was no violence. There did not need to be. Grizz walked through the warehouse door with 12 charter officers behind him, He did not raise his voice. He simply asked for the wheelchair to be returned when one of the young men tried to make excuses. Grizz held up his phone, showing the video they had filmed. Every face, every laugh, every kick. He explained, calmly, that Jake Reevesy Thompson had lost his legs protecting their right to be idiots, that the wheelchair they stole was not just metal and wheels, it was Reevesy's independence, his dignity, his freedom. The four men returned the wheelchair. They also returned every dollar in their wallets. As a donation to the VA hospital, they recorded an apology video that Grizz personally delivered to Reevesy, and they learned that their faces were now known to every Hells Angels charter in the country. If they ever touched another veteran, another disabled person, another vulnerable soul, there would be no second conversation. Jake Reevesy Thompson was back in his wheelchair by 8 o'clock that evening. His brothers had not just retrieved it, they had cleaned it, polished it, and added a new decal to the side, a small patch that read, "Protected by Angels." The four attackers moved out of Denver within the month. No charges were filed, but none were needed. Justice had already been served. So we ask you now, what would you do if you saw someone attacking a person who could not fight back? Would you film it like those cowards? Or would you stand up for what is right? Comment below with the words, "Respect the fallen," because Jake Reevesy Thompson gave everything for his country, and his brothers made sure that sacrifice was never forgotten. Sometimes, the most dangerous thing you can do is attack someone who has already lost everything and found a new family in the ashes, because that family rides together, hunts together, and protects its own with a loyalty that cowards will never understand. Never underestimate a veteran, and never, ever underestimate the brotherhood that stands behind him.